That's interesting. It started recording on its own. I guess I'm a ghost in the house. Up until about maybe 4 hours ago, uh, I had no idea what I would make video about this week, and then now I have two video ideas, and it's sort of like which is the one I'm going to talk about. I almost think I should make two videos this week, but then that would like screw everything up, I think. Doors don't want to stay shut. Anyway. Oh, this is my storage unit, by the way. I've got like one of these is full of photographs. One of them is full of my son's Thomas the Tank Engine trains. I'd say I'm a hoarder, but it's more like I've got odd collections that are probably just going to go straight in the bin when it's all said and done. Makes it easy for whoever has to deal with all of this. Anyway, so I guess I'm making a decision. And I'll go with the most recent idea, which is, speak of the devil, I was accosted by one of my cousins tonight, who I haven't seen, I truly don't think I've seen him since the funeral for my parents. It's been a long time. It was in a store, in public, which on the one hand was good because he had to be brief. On the other hand, it was like insane amount of personal information that he was going through. Insane amount. I mean, generally with my family, they're all in each other's back pocket. I've talked about this before, and when they see me, I'm fresh meat because I do so much. I mean, seriously, compared to them, and when they, you know, they know absolutely everything about everybody. I mean, to a degree. I mean, he was giving up a little bit of information, but I'm sort of like in shock still about, I don't know, 10 different things that I've gone through. At least it's like boom, 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 boom. Here we go. He was completely amazed. And well, I mean, if you've been following this channel, you know I've been going through some stuff. And I don't even put all of it up. I actually had a small surgery yesterday. I mean, like that sort of thing. But okay. There's all my disclosures. See, I'm still spewing out the disclosures now. And there's the part of me that's going, shut up, shut up, shut up. And the other part of me that's just like, okay, you know, the dike has been breached. Here's all the information. I don't know if everybody does that. I mean, I know part of it is I am built to tell stories, and I am built to sort of educate people. And I'm also built to answer every question, period. I can deflect a little bit, but if I'm asked something, I answer and that's it. And especially with my family of origin, I, I'm not capable of an edit button. I, it's not even that I'm not capable of it. It's that I don't have, any right to have an edit button. So whatever I would prefer not people to know doesn't matter. I am required to be an open book. And this poor guy, the amount of information that he got in that 10 minutes, his head is probably spinning. It's like, you get what you deserve. But that's why I don't interact with my family, because of that. Now, I have said many times that there are different sort of varieties of people with avoidant personality disorder, and so I'm sure there are people that could be totally shut down and silent and refuse to answer any question, and then they chastise themselves for being rude. But here we go. Why do I avoid people? Because I don't have any right not to answer these very invasive, as far as I'm concerned, personal questions. So if somebody has an in, like he was asking about my son and what he's up to and everything else. I mean, if it was a random person on the street, they wouldn't necessarily know I had any kids. I mean, I don't know that I seem like I would. It annoys you to death to see me mess with my hair, but I don't like looking at myself, so I should just not look near the camera at all. Every time I look at the camera, I'm like, oh my God. Ugh. Anyway, again, you should be used to it. Ooh, that terrible word. As soon as it came out of my mouth, I'm like, ah, you're probably used to it. That's more accurate. Anyway, my cousin was asking me about my fiance or my husband, and I'm like, ugh. Well, no. One, and two, why would you jump straight to that? Like, there's no, I'm seeing somebody, there's no, I have a relationship where, or a partnership or anything. It's straight to, oh my God. I was like, ugh. Anyway, I keep going back to my personal, like, this is what I'm going through, trauma. It was so recently. Really shouldn't try to talk about it when it's so recent, but here's the time. This is my weekly time when I'm making these videos, so here it is. So let's pause back a little bit. What do you do when you have avoidant personality disorder? Okay, don't do what I did. How do you negotiate this? I mean, this is the type of thing where, on the one hand, I feel like a massive hypocrite giving any kind of advice whatsoever. Although it is and it's not just me, it's a lot of people. It's easier to advise other people than it is to like walk the talk yourself. You know, this is one of the cases where, what I'm going through now, where my skin is like crawling, and I'm going to be like so many things. I'm sure he's already told 10 different people everything that I've already told him. It's like, oh my God. And he's the type who will file it away and I'll hear about it 5 years from now, the next time I see him. God. And the only way to avoid that gauntlet is to avoid ever seeing him again. And this is my cousin, who's nice, very nice, and very, very I don't know. That's my reaction. My reaction is avoid completely, and I have a good friend with avoidant personality disorder who is like, okay, guess what? If we actually like hang out with each other in person, like, don't expect me to be able to handle that, and I'll have to disappear for a good damn long time until I can get over that. So I'm definitely not the only one who has that immediate reaction. It's fight or flight or freeze, I think is I don't know. Anyway, yeah, avoidant personality disorder is flight is the default, I think, for almost all of us. Which, okay, avoidant personality disorder does not mean that you are avoiding people. When you're avoiding people, it's usually a sign of depression. It's avoiding relationships, and that's what you do. You run away from them. So how to deal with this? First of all, and I don't know, I kind of wish that people would say it to me all the time too. But I really truly think that the number one thing, first step always, whatever your reaction is, whatever you choose to do, however you respond, if it's like an immediate gut response, whatever that is, don't judge yourself for it. Don't take yourself to task. Okay, maybe you might regret a little bit, like, oh, I could have done this other thing and that probably would have made things less complicated for me. That is different from self-judgment. I mean, that's going to be the first thing that you do. It's going to be the automatic reaction is to just, eviscerate yourself because, oh my God, what did you do? And you've got to take responsibility for it. And what have you done? Okay, yes. Okay, so that's the script that I'm sure that you heard. It's how you became avoidant in the first place, is that you heard this abusive talk to you, that you're the one that's responsible for everything in your life. You allowed something to happen. Random. You allowed it. And now you're responsible for it. I'm sure you've heard that. That is the thing, is that there's like a complete lack of empathy and compassion for people who have avoidant personality disorder in their life, and that's how they become avoidant. Okay, so that's what you know, because that's what was done to you. But it's not accurate, that, and you shouldn't, what's that word again? I say it all the time and I hate it. I should myself. I should all the time. I'm like, I should do this and I should do that and I should blah blah blah. Guess what? No. Um it's not should do that. So you have the option. I was going to say the right, but that also is going to like grate on you and you go, no, I don't think so. Um and it's definitely not a responsibility. And but it's more than just an option. It's like the option you should try to take is to give yourself a break with whatever the reaction that you're having. Okay? 2, the next thing to do um, is, and this is hard because now the gut reaction of somebody with avoidant personality disorder is to ruminate. That means that you like have it going through your head over and over and over, every little detail, every cringy thing that makes you want to squirm. And then you just, it's like 1,000 lashes with every detail, remembering this, that, and the other. And you're not making any progress with it. And all you're doing is literally beating yourself up by remembering and causing yourself to, um, so ruminating on whatever it was, interaction, that try not to do. Um, and you can do that initially when you're really, really caught up in it. Try that thing, the DBT technique, which is to let an idea come into your head, acknowledge that the idea exists, and just let it go. And I know that that takes practice. When something like this happens, this is not the time to try to do this for the first time, because this is like a shock to the system. I mean, this is something that you I need to, like, I don't know. This is something that I recommend that you do, like, I mean, the most basic thing. Like, I mean, literally anything. Like, a thought that I wonder what the weather's going to be tomorrow. Okay, you had that thought. Yep, that's a thought, and just let it go. Instead of worrying about, oh my goodness, but I need to do this, and what if the weather's like that? Don't worry about it. Um, Instead of then immediately checking and seeing exactly precisely, because you know what? Forecasts are never completely right anyway. So don't look it up. Don't just say, okay, yeah, I had this thought. I wonder what the weather's going to be. There we go. And let it go. And because it's hard to do that. It's hard to not add it to your list of things to worry about and to ruminate on, especially when you've been trained to ruminate. Because with whatever it was that caused you to become avoidant, the abuse that you dealt with, there's going to be a part of you that would be like, okay, if I could be on top of this, that, and the other, then I wouldn't get the abuse anymore. Which, of course, is not true. But you, again, are being trained to be responsible for everything that happens in your life. So that's the one way of dealing with it that's better than ruminating, which is to just like have the idea come in. Oh, I let it go. And then the other is, instead of ruminating and getting stuck ruminating, is actually to try to come up with a game plan about this. And I mean, okay, so this, like this very situation where I ran into my cousin and got grilled and, you know, then just cracked open and said 90. And the thing is, first of all, what I was talking about is seriously on the most surface, like fact details about stuff in my, I mean, seriously, it was just like straight facts. It wasn't like my opinion on anything or my feelings on anything. I mean, this was the most surface level. So, I mean, it felt like a lot of stuff was, but you know what? Seriously, if you actually knew my name, if you like were in my Instagram or anything, um you would already know all this stuff because it's that basic. I mean, this is stuff that's findable. This is, I said it, but yeah, it's all in the world. um what town do I live in? Yep, if you knew my name, you'd be able to find that in 4 seconds flat online. um Stuff like that. What job do I do? Well, I happen to have a insignia right on. Oh, you're still there. Oh my God. Yep. You know that I'm still there because you knew I was there in the first place. That sort of thing. Basics, really seriously basics. So no, I didn't really give up any information. I just, instead of making him go look it up, I just blurted it out. I mean, again, it feels to me like giving any tiny little bit of information about myself. Like, I have 2 cats. The last time he saw me, I had 4 cats. Is this like a major thing? No, it's not. Is that even really a big change? No. But to me, because of how I've been treated, especially, see, the thing is, like, I say this on here, and it's not that big a deal to me because you're not going to file it away and come back to me and try to use it against me in some way in the future. Because how could you, right? But that is how my family operates. Like, he made a comment about how I looked because, well, you know what? He hasn't seen me in 5 years. And if you see me year to year to year, I keep changing. Fact, it's the fact of the matter. I do. I don't stay static. And I look, okay, so relatively speaking, I keep getting told, I'm not looking for compliments. I keep getting told that I still look young for my age, but I do look a lot older than I did 5 years ago. But it's like my family gets stuck with what they knew and assume if they haven't got the new information that I haven't done anything to have changed because they didn't have the information given to them. So the assumption is that I haven't changed at all. That's so bizarre to me. I assume people change. I assume people do things. Everybody does stuff, but I'm stuck in some stasis thing or something. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, but I'm sort of off on the tangent again. But yes, so how was I describing it? I was describing it as, what did I say? Have a game plan or something, break it down or something. But what I mean is, let me describe it a little bit further. So, okay, the thing to not do is ruminate. One way you can do that is if you're thinking of whatever just happened, is to let it come in and then go out, especially if you practiced it, especially if you're still like in shock and you can't not ruminate. I mean, know this about yourself. If you can't not ruminate, then that is not the time to even try to do that. The second option. Just try to let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Don't run it through your brain a million times. Is come up with a game plan for how to cope. Turn into a learning experience. Okay, in this case, this person who asked the right questions, I mean, I know about myself. I mean, it was just out of the blues. Seriously, I was in a store and there he was, and then he's talking. I was like, oh my God. Nightmare, you know? So I did not have any of my guards up. I'm not thinking, oh, this is a relative. I've got to be concerned because this is a relative who's going to keep tabs on me for, okay. In the future, look at me being silent. Okay, in my case, I think that the only thing I can do is say, oh my God, it's so good to see you. Oh, I'm so busy and I'm late for something, and go. Literally, I don't think I could have a conversation of any amount of short time. Actually, I know for a fact I've run into other cousins who looked at me. I know that they recognize me, and they just kept walking. I'm like, oh, my favorite cousins. My favorite relatives, not asking me questions about what I'm doing. If that doesn't happen, if you have to answer, have some things. I mean, like I said, this guy was not good with, let's stick on a subject and talk about the things I wanted to talk about. Have something that you can say that will sort of direct them toward the type of conversation that you would prefer to have. Did not work with this time. I mean, because I did that. I was like, oh yeah, I went on a trip. I went to Australia this year. Fact. I mean, most people are like on that, and they're like, oh, tell me about this, tell me about that. What was it like? And I mean, I can have a whole half an hour conversation about what I saw there that has nothing to do with me. Did not work with this guy. He probably has wondered so many things. And of course, for me, I have to explain. I can never, because I'm a storyteller. I don't just say one thing. I have to explain how and why. Oh, what do you do? Are you doing this? Well, no, because I actually do this instead. Stupid me. That's how. Okay. What did I say about not judging? What else did I say about that I can give advice and it's really hard for me to actually follow it? Okay. But yes, so that's something that would be, one, try to cut it as short as possible, give every excuse to get out of there and flee, because it works. Two, have topics that you can direct the conversation, just have them, just know them in the back of your head. What is like the thing that people will ask you about that thing versus asking about yourself? Three, which is what I did really, even though it feels like I was giving like way, but again, all I was doing was giving facts. I did not go into how I felt about X, Y, and Z. It's stuff like, this is a fact. This is what I did. It's pretty superficial. It was really superficial. Stay there. Stay in the superficial. And I didn't even say, hey, looking forward to seeing you again. I didn't even say that, I just got out of there. So those are that's the type of thing that you can do is when you think about, you can think, oh, I said this, oh, how cringy. Well, now, instead of just ruminating on the cringe, you can craft it. You can say, okay, well, I said that. I should have said something like, for instance, I haven't seen this guy in that long. I could say, hey, have you gone to see my sister? She lives here, because she's close now. I did not bring her up. That would have definitely shifted things if I had said, hey, this is what's going on with her, because he's so interested in the family crap. Unless he's interacting with her, then anything I said about her, he would want to know, because it's the same thing. That's the sort of thing is, again, this was like a 1 in a million. I don't think any of my other relatives would have been so interested. My cousin, there are these, I can't remember what they're called. Like, I almost want to call it a super spreader. That there's a certain type of person that is like extremely hyper social, like more social than anybody else, and is really interested in anything they can get, because I'm sure that there's a part of him going, she's doing this and she's doing this. He would want to use that, not like, I'm going to use you to get like a financial gain or something, but if he can keep in the back of his head, oh, I have 2 other friends that have been on a trip and maybe they can connect with each other, because that's what he's all about, making connections. Because then if there's anything he needs, he can make a connection between this one and that one. And if he has this person that needs something and another person, and they help each other and they get what they want, he doesn't have to do anything other than make the connection. But if he needs something, then both of these people are going to be more likely to help him out. That is how he operates, and that's how he gets like tons and tons of stuff done. So he's like this super social person, and I'm sure that is part of his thing, is that he was trying. So knowing his motivation and knowing that it was not, see, in my experience, the people who've known stuff about me use it against me to really manipulate me and get stuff out of me. That's almost guarantee you that was not his motivation. It seems really weird. It seems really, like, I can't fathom of somebody that's just actually seriously interested in somebody else's life, even though sometimes I am. I'm like, oh, that's really interesting. Generally, I'm always thinking in the back of my head, oh, this person is doing this for this reason, for manipulation purposes, because that's all I knew. Growing up, that's it. That's all I knew. So it's helpful to me to think of, okay, this person got this information out of me, but why? What was their end goal? His case was, to keep in the back of his head, to keep this information like his little filing cabinet. Oh, this person is doing this and this person is doing this. But was it in order to attack me that he was keeping this information? Most likely not. I've never actually seen him do that. I'm sure he's done it to somebody, but I've never seen it. He's used people, again, to connect with each other so that then he can go fall back on them and ask them for favors or whatever. But he hasn't actually ever attacked anybody for something he knew about them and used it to like come after them, unlike just about everybody else I know. And so, like, that again, that's the way to break down the rumination, is to, like, exactly what did I lose? And isn't that awful? But that is exactly what I'm thinking. What did I lose in this conversation? Nothing, really. I mean, I feel very, very unsettled. And I want to be like cringe, cringe, cringe. Um, I don't know. I don't know if this is even slightly interesting. I don't know if this is even slightly helpful. But the point is, what I'm trying to articulate, probably very poorly, is how to shift the impulse to ruminate and to self attack and just be like, oh my God, I can't believe that this happened. Because this would be a big one. This would be the type of thing that I'd be thinking about 20, 30 years from now. Like, oh my God, I can't believe I had this conversation in the middle of a store and gave up all of, well, not all of, but a lot of my secrets. What are these assumptions about me? Oh my God, cousins assuming, like I said, assuming that I'm engaged or married. Ooh. Why? How? Ooh. Is that good? Is that bad? Is that what? Ooh. Please. Yeah, it is the type of thing I would be ruminating about. And I'm going to try not to, using the same techniques that I came up with. Just one, if it's really cringe and it's awful, to just say, okay, yeah, whatever, that happened, let it go. And two, to say, okay, this is like a learning experience that I can practice and craft a different way to have a conversation, because again, this situation is not going to come up. But it was like trial by fire, like 10 or 12 different things where I normally would have maybe one or two with any other person. So if I can come up with a way of counteracting, or it's weird to say, forgiving myself for stating facts about myself when I'm asked, at least not to be shocked by it, because I know this is what I've been trained to do, so this is what I do. And maybe that's why people want to talk to me, because they know that I'll actually answer. Who knows? Okay, my cat is staring at me like totally freaked out, like, Mom. Yes, I pretend the cats call me Mom. Mom, you're still yapping. You've been yapping for like the longest amount of time I've heard you in all one stretch in a week. Anyway, so I'm going to end this. I hope it was helpful at all. Who knows? Maybe next week I'll talk about the other topic that I suddenly thought was very interesting to talk about. Maybe interesting to me, because I haven't heard anybody else talk about it, hence why I was going to talk about it. Anyway, bye.